Good afternoon. I'm Spot On Weather meteorologist Matthew Euler, and today's presentation is titled Hot as a Firecracker, so appropriate being that we're just a few days out from the 4th of July holiday. So let's get right to the presentation. It's a very warm country as a whole from west coast to east coast right now. Let's start first of all by looking at the local observations in the mid-Atlantic region for southeast Virginia. On the satellite imagery, I'm showing a lot of brighter cloud tops. Here on the satellite imagery, see these little clusters where they're brighter. These are where we're having some thunderstorms at the present time developing, some over the Gulf Stream, some down over South Carolina, and then further back towards Kentucky and Tennessee. But in general, the area around the southeast Virginia and North Carolina, pretty quiet right now. Not a lot developing, not a lot on the radar showing up. Looking over here at some surface plots on the right, very light winds. Temperatures are generally in the low 90s with dew points 70 to 72 degrees for the most part. There are some very light winds outside at the present time, so not much in the way of any type of gradient or any kind of wind blowing outside, making it feel even more miserable due to this high humidity and the very intense solar radiation at this time of year. Looking at the current analysis on the left, I'm looking at the 30,000 foot level at the jet streams. The polar front main jet stream remains, there's a little bit of a trough over the Pacific Northwest, and then you have more of a ridging pattern setting up over the eastern United States. There's a big ridge, expansive ridge over the eastern United States right now. And underneath this ridge, the air is generally sinking. And when you have sinking air, you generally do not have a lot in the way of convective thunderstorm development. So as this jet stream remains to the north, we're just going to continue to remain very warm across the eastern United States as a whole, generally across the whole U.S. as a whole. Looking at the thickness chart on the right, showing surface pressure features, there is a 1,020 millibar high that's situated back over West Virginia on the current analysis. There are some scattered showers and thunderstorms back towards the midwestern United States, and there's some more scattered showers and thunderstorms on the Gulf Coast, and then moving offshore, off into the open waters of the northern Gulf of Mexico. The forecast for Monday, the 2nd of July, this jet stream axis remains well to the north along the U.S.-Canadian border. Eventually, a ridging pattern develops again over eastern Canada. So the eastern United States remains very hot and dry. Not much in the way of thunderstorm activity with this kind of pattern, this kind of setup. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will be back to the west of southeast Virginia tomorrow, generally over Ohio, Indiana, down to Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, into the Gulf of Mexico once more. Generally across the United States as a whole, it's very quiet. Forecast now moving to Tuesday, the 3rd of July, the day before the 4th. If you're traveling anywhere, generally we have a little bit of an upper level trough over the Pacific Northwest, but that's about it. The overall ridge remains in place over eastern Canada into the West Atlantic. We still have upper level high height center situated over New Jersey, in the vicinity of New Jersey. A lot of sinking air motion. Not much in the way of thunderstorms. Now we could get a few scattered thunderstorms developing along the coast in association with the sea breeze. There are some more scattered showers and thunderstorms back towards the Midwest as well on the 3rd of July. And a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms back over northern Minnesota into the Dakotas. Looking ahead now for your 4th of July, for your planning activities. Again, not much of a change over the eastern United States. Still have this sprawling upper high. This upper high just situated over southwestern Pennsylvania. The main jet axis remains well to the north over Canada. Overall on the actual precipitation forecast, there could be some scattered showers, very widely scattered showers and thunderstorms across southeast Virginia. Not expecting an all-day washout by any stretch. And really that's the case across much of the eastern United States, from Iowa east, also down along the Gulf Coast into Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, into the Florida Peninsula, which is typical this time of year. So in general, if you go from the general Missouri River west, generally not looking at a lot of thunderstorm activity, pretty dry for the 4th of July for any outdoor festivities, including the firework displays. Moving on to the 5th of July, this upper level high just positions itself a little bit more, elongates itself more west-east, generally from the Midwestern United States across to Northern Virginia into Pennsylvania. The core of the jet stream remains again well to the north. What does this mean? Hot temperatures will continue generally from the southwestern United States all the way to the East Coast. There are some scattered showers and thunderstorms again that may develop during the heating of the afternoon into the early evening, but again, these will be widely scattered showers and storms, not expecting an all-day rain out by any stretch. Moving now into Friday, the 6th of July, to end the work week, the upcoming work week. Again, higher heights is situated basically all the way across the Midwest to the East Coast. A little bit of a more ridging pattern develops over the central plains, northern plains up into central Canada. And now we get more of a troughing pattern over the eastern Canada. But again, the main jet stream axis is well to the north of the United States. Again, scattered showers and thunderstorms are a possibility. We do have 1,024 millibar high in association generally with a frontal boundary, but that remains to the north of southeast Virginia. Wanted to show you, before I show you the tropical outlook the next 5 days across the North Atlantic Ocean basin, this is the global temperature anomalies in degrees Celsius, showing a cooler pool of water stretching from basically the west coast of Africa through the central Atlantic or along 20 degrees north latitude. And hurricanes, if you look at a previous lesson I put together last year on Hurricanes, the Ultimate Heat Engine, one of the main criteria was having those very warm sea surface temperatures of 79 degrees Fahrenheit or higher in order to get for the hurricane to really intensify and extract that heat and moisture from the lower surface, the ocean surface. So if you get these cooler than normal water temperatures, this could actually be an inhibitor, along with a developing El Nino with warming sea surface temperatures there in the equatorial Pacific Ocean, the East Pacific and the Central Pacific. So we have two factors here we'll have to keep an eye on as far as the hurricane season goes this year to see how that all plays out. Here is the satellite imagery across the tropics, the North Atlantic Ocean basin at the present time. There is a little bit of a cluster of thunderstorms coming off of southern Alabama, Georgia into the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. There's also another area of disturbed thunderstorms, generally over the western Atlantic, over the open waters. Generally, the tropical waves it's fairly non-significant at the present time, any of these tropical easterly waves. There are clusters of thunderstorms, generally in the far eastern Atlantic, but nothing expected over the next 5 days, once again, courtesy of the National Hurricane Center. Looking longer range temperature trends, so moving a little bit further down the road beyond the 4th of July holiday, the 7th to the 10th of July, the hottest temperatures are indicated in this purple shading, and that is going to remain the hottest. The core of the hottest will still remain over the western United States between 7 and 10 July. We still will be fairly warm. Don't mistake this. It's still going to be very muggy and very warm, over the eastern United States, but the core remains back over the west. And there's no significant changes at all. I mean, we really don't see any significant changes to this pattern over time, over the next 10 days. It'll continue to be very, very warm from coast to coast, pretty much. A little bit of cooler air in association with these occasional troughs, the dipping of the jet stream over the Pacific Northwest. But overall, it's going to be a very, very warm next 10 days across the United States. So here's the final thoughts on today's video. The jet stream remains well to the north over eastern Canada. And whenever you have the jet stream all the way to the north over eastern Canada, the warmest and hottest temperatures will remain south of that jet stream axis. So that is going to continue. Very warm temperatures over the mid-Atlantic, even hotter out towards the western U.S. The core of the hottest temperatures will remain over the western U.S. It's, again, still going to be very, very warm and uncomfortable. A lot of muggy, high humidity across the entire U.S. to start the month of July. Now, we are expecting high temperatures for southeast Virginia to range between 88 and 94 degrees during the day, with heat index values between 100 and 105 degrees Fahrenheit on the hottest afternoons over the next week. Really don't see any changes of that type of pattern. Widely scattered thunderstorms are possible on the 4th of July. However, do not cancel any outdoor plans as these storms will not last the entire day. Very widely scattered in nature. Check your apps, your radar returns, just to make sure that everything's good. But overall, it should be a fairly dry 4th of July. with the exception of a few spots getting a couple scattered thunderstorms during the heating of the day. And again, no tropical cyclone development is expected across the North Atlantic Ocean basin over the next 5 days. There is that cooler than normal water temperature area I showed over the tropical Atlantic, and that's the main development region, the MDR. That's going to favor a quieter hurricane season, and we'll continue to keep a close eye on things. But right now, the combination of a developing El Nino along with cooler than normal water temperatures in that main development region will most likely result in a quieter hurricane season as compared to last year. All right, that wraps things up today at Spot On Weather for the latest video. I am meteorologist Matthew Euler. Remember, we're spot on weather. If we're not spot on, we're not doing it right. Have a great Sunday, everyone.